Okay, what's up, fellow model train enthusiasts? This is your boy, Lone Wolf 777, broadcasting from his home in California today. Okay, so, a couple things we're going to go over today. One of them is being this. We got to paint the inside of this black so that the light doesn't bleed through. And what we're going to do is both sides. So we're going to prep this now on this side. We've already prepped the inside of this, so I'm not worried about that. We will prep this in a minute. The wheel sets, I want to make sure that you understand when you get these from Tangent, one comes longer, the other one comes shorter. So if you prefer to install both with longer wires, you would have to unsolder these and put your own wires on. So what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to take these two wires off and install longer ones. But first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to take some clear plastic tape, okay, and we're going to cut this in half. Okay, so okay. So the reason why we're painting this, or we're taping this with clear tape, is so that in case black paint gets on the windows, it's not going to cover them on the inside. So that's a good thing to do that. Okay. Now, okay, so that's what we're doing here. Is again, we're just making sure that the inside of this is black. Now, the other thing, that happens. It's okay. So what we're doing here is you can kind of see that it's starting to bleed into the plastic a little bit. That's what we got to be careful of. We don't want that going into the areas of the clear windows to where it's obstructing the view of the of the caboose on the interior. Okay, so there we go. We're going to let that dry. Make sure that no yellow shows through this black paint. But we're also going to turn this around really quickly. Make sure that there's no black showing through the windshields or the windows. We don't want that. That's very bad because then you got to find a way to clean that off. Okay. So there's that. Now we have another one done. Okay. So while we leave these to dry, we're going to go ahead and clean this off. But the other thing is I want to make sure of, we're going to check Okay, so there was one area that we needed to touch up. Okay, so there we go. Sorry about that. I had to really focus, make sure I didn't get any black paint on areas that I didn't want them to be. I could remove the windows, I could do that, but there is paint to them on certain parts, and I don't want to risk taking a chunk of that paint off. Some of them have silver trim, other parts not so much. So we're just going to kind of leave them alone now and go from here. So that's just one way of dealing with this problem. I'm going to clean my brush off. Okay. Uh, okay. So let's go ahead. Now this is where the real fun begins. Now that we've gotten the inside painted black, the window bays themselves are now black. What we want to do is basically keep this to where it needs to be. So the difficult part comes in when we have to basically take this metal plate, and what we have to do is we have to be very careful on where we put the holes in. So we have 3 holes here. This is to secure the metal weight to the frame of this caboose, and sometimes, unfortunately, what has to happen is I have to take a Dremel and basically take one spot right here, put it into a hole. Same thing right here, put it in a hole. And then on the bottom, we got to do the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I don't want to take a Dremel to where the metal catches fire and then, you know, all that stuff. So what I want to do is just leave the frame right here. We're going to basically we're going to take the Dremel to this now. Okay. Ow. Damn, my back hurts. Okay, so this is a diamond discs saw blade kind of deal, from what I understand. What we're going to do is we're going to take this metal plate. So as you can see here, again, what we're doing is we're just taking this part and trying to divot this to where we can get a nice drill bit in there. Okay, so now you can kind of see the divot coming through. We're about to break through this. Okay. This does take time. It does take a lot of effort. So what we're going to do now we'll take this drill bit. Okay, so now we have a hole where it needs to be. So the big thing that I want everybody to understand is just because we have this hole here now does not mean we're done. Okay? Because we got to be careful now. This can still not only just chafe the wires, it can also cut them and then cause a short. We don't want that. So what I'm going to do is sand this off. Okay, so now that's sanded, but now you got another problem here. Some residue metal that wasn't cut has now put itself back into place for where it can cut the wires. So now we got to do this. So now, heat shrink tube. Uh-oh. Oh. Okay. So now, here's another thing. Okay. So sometimes what will happen is that I might get the angle, or I might cut a little too short than I want to. Now that I'm looking at this, I may have cut this way too close to this, so that's a major problem. Thought I did this the right way. No, I didn't. It happens. So what we're going to do, because I don't have anything to mark this down with me, that's another problem. Shoot. You know what? What I could do is, Okay, so